I'm Peter Kozma, Artistic Director of Opera Neo, and I am so happy to welcome you to our virtual Magic Flute production. I'm delighted that you are joining us, whether for the first time or to rewatch the show, as now we are releasing the full movie version of the entire opera. It turns out, we made history! Over the past year, we have gotten a flood of questions, wondering how on earth we did this, so I want to take you too a little bit behind the scenes and into our process of making this production. It started as a small idea. Just for the joy of making music, we thought, let's do the Magic Flute online. But of course, when you bring together a group of creative people, it never stops at something easy. As we learned more and more about the technology and what we could do with it, the project grew more and more ambitious, eventually bringing together the work of over 65 artists from all over the country. Singers, orchestra, graphic designers, sound engineer, and production team, while no two artists were ever in the same room together. Our process started with our wonderful pianists recording the accompaniments for our singers that served also as the bass track for our orchestra members. Just as with their audio recordings, each singer filmed individually in front of a green screen. Next, we put our singers together in front of virtual backgrounds created by our graphic designers.
Number 8. Trial run.
Each of our singers was not only performing, but serving as their own camera crew, videoing themselves on their phones with extremely specific directions in front of a green screen. Our director, David Radamestoro, and I were working with the singers and production team on the framing and composition of each shot. The rehearsal and filming process was strange and painstaking, as our director David worked with our singers to tell the story, create chemistry and meaningful relationships between characters hundreds and sometimes thousands of miles away from each other. There is so much that we never think about when we are working together in the same place, like how tall each singer is, or how far the camera is placed from each performer. We made endless measurements and calculations to make sure all camera angles and setups were consistent for each shot. Then refined them constantly, as singers needed to create a scene and pretend to talk to each other face to face while performing all by themselves. While most singers had to film alone, some of our cast members got some help from their cohabitants and family members. Putting the final product together was a monumental task. Our sound engineer, Danielle did a brilliant job combining individual tracks from each orchestra member, creating a cohesive symphonic sound, and adding each singer to the mix. Combining all the visual elements together was by far the most complicated editing task we have ever attempted. This generation of operatic performers faces hurdles like none before them, and the same with opera companies all over the world. In spite of the pandemic, in spite of the disappointment of not being in the same place making music, this group of artists came together in a remarkable way. We are so delighted that you are joining us here virtually from wherever you may be and whenever you may be watching. With that, enjoy the show.